Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So another gaming launch happened this last week. We see that Seraph here did go ahead and TGE their Seraph token. We're going to be going into what exactly are we looking here on the chart. What happened with Seraph? Is this a project that you should have on your watch list? Should you not? Is it worth it or not? And as always, before we get into the thick of the video, if you guys want to stay up to date with what we're covering here on the channel as we bring daily uploads to you, if you guys could subscribe to the channel so you stay up to date and don't miss a video. And if you guys could like the video as well, it really does go quite a long ways for helping out the channel, and I do appreciate it. So if we look at Seraph, again, we can see that they did go ahead and TGE on the 6th of January, so literally this last week. Now, when they launched, they were at like an 800 to 900 FDV, I want to say 800 to 900 million FDV, so kind of closing in on that $1 billion mark as far as a fully diluted market cap went. And we have seen them take a nosedive, literally in a matter of days, less than a week. They were down 75%. Now, is this a reflection on the project? I don't think so, but a couple things worth noting, not that it is make or break deals here. Now, they did go ahead and launch, away from that fair launch system that we've seen other projects like Super Champs do, with their Champ token, Seed World, Xborg, Play Network, these other gaming projects that we've seen that they've launched with, decentralized, DEXs only, no exchange listings, and near full diluted as far as tokens of circulation, so nothing really major as far as unlocks go. That's why we've seen stuff like Champs perform the way that they have, whereas they launch and they go pretty steadily up, or there is a little period of consolidation and then they eventually go to the upside. Now, Seraph did not do this. Obviously, there is still a huge dilution as far as the circulating market cap in the FTV, and they did launch on several exchange listings. Now, that alone isn't even a deal breaker, because we've seen stuff like Nifty Island with their Island token. Even here recently, about mid-December, they went ahead and went away from the fair launch launch as well, with that discrepancy or that difference in the two different market caps and on exchange listings. But their chart has looked pretty healthy, honestly, coming from about those like 5-cent levels. It went all the way up to 20 cents and now even at 10 cents. So they're still up from their TGE, from that initial couple days here. But when we look at Seraph, I mean, it's obviously not pretty. If you got in on day one, I feel bad for you, but again, I do think that Seraph is potentially going to make a comeback. Now, if we'll circle back to exactly what's going on here, my opinions towards the end. But if we look at what Seraph is, well, they do have their game, their gaming project right now. I should clarify, it is in the gaming sector, but essentially, to me at least, I think the best comparison is it is a top-down, kind of like a Diablo on the blockchain. Essentially, if you're looking for like a Diablo kind of Web3 gaming project, this, to me, is potentially the best, representation of a Diablo-like game in the Web3 space, especially when we look at some gameplay here on their website. If I can just go ahead and mute this. I mean, the game looks solid. I haven't personally played it. I haven't played it myself. It is coming to Steam here soon. You can actually wish list it. I believe they have their independent, individual separate launchers they can download at the top of their website as well. But the game does look solid. If this is your kind of game, like I said, if you're into Diablo or games similar to that, I think Path of Exile, stuff like that, then this is a potentially fun game that you could potentially try out here. But it is also that genre of game where I know that you're either about these games or you're not. It's not something that typically is debated on. You're either about these top downs or you're not if you're in the gaming sector. But when we look, at what they're doing here on their Twitter, they say that they're the world's first AAA. We always hear that AAA Web3 ARPG. So blending AI and blockchain, which, when you see that, you do, think, well, that's interesting. They have AI in their ecosystem. Now, how are they going to be, introducing AI into the ecosystem? Well, when they say that they're going to be transforming, the pets, how they're planning, since 2021, they've integrated AI into Seraph, bringing the game to life with AI-powered visuals, character designs, and voiceovers. They say soon they're in-game pets, so you can have pets or like companions in the game. That's pretty familiar in other kind of games like this. We'll be able to evolve into intelligent AI agents, essentially, that are capable of learning your player behavior, analyzing markets, recording, and offering personalized gameplay. Watch how AI powers Seraph and inspires the gaming industry. with BNB's robust tech and ecosystem support. So that is just one of the ways that they do plan on having AI integrate into their ecosystem. So I do think that, you know, having AI within their ecosystem, you know, part of their game, is a bullish factor. Again, we covered this on yesterday's video, that, you know, we're going to be seeing, I believe yesterday's video, we're going to be seeing a lot of gaming projects, not that it's a bad thing, but launching here soon, having, or at least claiming to have some kind of AI integration into their ecosystem. Now, I'm not saying that Seraph obviously has been bandwagoning, as they stated that they've been integrating this since 2021, but we're all going to be seeing that with a lot more gaming projects. Now, again, not a bad thing at all. But if you are interested on maybe getting your hands on Seraph, if this is your kind of game, again, you can either download their launcher at the top of their website here for PC or Android, or they do have a planned release date, Q1 2025. So it's going to be interesting. Now, obviously, when we circle all the way back to the chart here, what happened, as far as an unlock schedule, I couldn't, I believe, necessarily find much on the unlock schedule personally. If that's something that you guys are more aware of, let me know, unless I completely went over it here, and I might have, but if we take a look here throughout their white paper, again, this is what they have going on here in their white paper. If you guys want more information on Seraph, then as always, you know, look through this, a couple of utilities for their token here. But when we look at it, one, you could say that maybe they should have gone fair launch. I'm a big proponent for gaming projects, especially more individual gaming projects, you know, not so much infra plays. I understand that if more infra plays have to launch with that bigger dilution as far as market cap and FTV for maybe VCs or early investors, I understand that, even though we saw something like Play Network rework their tokenomics to accommodate a fair launch, so it can be done. But when we look at more individual gaming projects, now, yes, I think Seraph is supposed to be more of like a studio play. I want to say, you know, by Seraph Studio, but when we look at more of an individual gaming project, I think the meta really has proven to be fair launch, you know, with essentially no dilution, maybe near full unlock, if not 80% of tokens in circulation, day one TGE, and maybe centralized or DEXs only with no centralized exchange listings. Because one, that strategy has proven to work on so many other projects that we just mentioned earlier in the video, stuff like you know, Super Champs or even Seed World here recently with individual gaming projects or gaming ecosystems. But, you know, when you launch with stuff like Bybit, KuCoin, Mexi, yes, everyone likes exchange listings, but those are less future catalysts for a project like this. Now, I do think personally, because of the state of the market that we're in right now, it's not really the most bullish trend. Obviously, we're seeing that right now over the well, essentially so far into 2025, it's not been the most bullish year, but it is still quite early. And gaming, in my opinion, is not running right now, and I don't expect it to run immediately. I do think we still have future catalysts for the gaming sector, like the launch of the Guns token, or even stuff like Infinite Gods launching here soon. Those kind of big headline projects could be potential catalysts. Whereas I do think there was some hype around Seraph. I don't think it was anywhere near the amount of hype or potential catalysts that those future projects could potentially be for the gaming project or the gaming scene. So when we look at Seraph, in my opinion, in full disclosure, I do not hold a position in Seraph, and it's not one that I am personally looking at actively getting into. Now, we'll see how low Seraph does go, because I do think the project is, you know, of quality. And again, when we look at projects like this, we've seen other kind of top-down projects in the past not do that great in the gaming sector, whereas I think in traditional Web2 gaming, I do like these games. Stuff like Diablo, I've played it obviously when I was younger, you know, all the way up until the fourth one. Haven't played that one yet. So, but either way here, that is what is going on in the gaming sector. Just another launch. You know, obviously we talked about Sonic SVM the other day as being more of a gaming infrastructure play, but now we have Seraph also coming to the market with TGE this week for more of an independent game right now with their, again, in my opinion, and you could chalk it up to other genres as well, but I think the best comparison to like a Web2 game that is well known is a Diablo-like game, except obviously in Web3. But for a highlight, I think that the fact they are integrating AI into their ecosystem and their game is definitely a positive. I think that gaming, you know, AI gaming, as we covered here recently, I think AI gaming projects are going to be some of those front runners and some of those top gainers whenever gaming does come around, because we see that gaming or AI is a hot narrative, and AI agents obviously is a hot narrative and not going anywhere, in my opinion. So I do think we're going to see projects that combine AI or AI agents with their gaming, you know, with their game or just their gaming ecosystem, are definitely going to have an edge over projects that potentially don't incorporate AI into their ecosystem that could be potentially left behind the cycle. But Again, that is not financial advice, just giving you guys my opinion, keeping you guys updated as always of what is happening, what are some of the launches that happened here recently in case you missed any of them, or if you're waiting for Seraph, they did go ahead and TGE. Now, my opinion, I personally would just let this chart play out because, again, it is a gaming project, more of an individual gaming project right now, and gaming is not hot. The overall market is not in the best place right now. I think it is going to be a little shaky for a little bit longer, in my opinion, in the short term. But either way, I do think we still have a crazy altcoin season ahead of us, and I do still have conviction that gaming is going to be one of those hot narratives. So maybe put Seraph, on your watch list if you haven't already, or if something like this does interest you a little bit. But as always, do your own research. One thing I did want to make note of also, when we look at where they're listed, I found this also quite strange. Seraph, not that, again, we've seen other projects do well on these chains, obviously, but when we look at where Seraph is currently building is Ethereum and BNB, the BNB Smart or the Binance Smart Chain. Now, they could add other chains in the future, go cross-chain. That could always happen. Obviously, they can expand to other ecosystems, but I do think that for gaming, especially, and just the overall market, chains like BNB and Ethereum, whereas I still trade on them. Obviously, there's still quality projects. I don't think those are hot ecosystems. One, in general, I think that moving forward, I really do think that Solana, Base, maybe even Sui as an up-and-comer, those are the ecosystems that are really taking a lot of that mind share right now, especially for the gaming sector. I think we are going to be looking at stuff, on not only Base, but also Solana, even Avalanche, obviously is a biggest sleeper gaming ecosystem that we've covered in the past quite a bit. I don't think there's really that much hype and steam behind not only Binance Smart Chain as a whole, but gaming specifically on BNB. I don't know how much hype is going to be there when we have these other ecosystems, especially stuff like Avalanche killing it here recently with the Avalanche 9000 update, or the upgrade that makes it so much more easy to get gaming projects and new developers onto that chain. I just don't see how stuff like BNB is going to compete with other chains like that, and even other new ecosystems, again, like stuff like Sui, just as an example. Now, we'll see. Again, I have Seraph here. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it as we covered it, and I'm always interested in new gaming launches. You guys know that we are big fans and have high conviction on the gaming sector and the gaming narrative for this cycle, as we have for years now. So as always, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Seraph? Was this a token you were waiting for, or have you never even heard of this project? And do you see any potential here? Do you wish, if you were waiting for Seraph, if you did get involved somehow, were you hoping that they would have done the fair launch style that we've seen stuff like Super Champs, Seed World, Xborg, Play Network, stuff like that do here recently, that potentially shows that style is works? But again, here when we look at stuff like Nifty Island that didn't do fair launch but is still up since TGE, that's not a fair black and white rule, obviously. But either way, I'd love to get your guys' opinions on Seraph. If there's other projects in the space you want my opinion on, please comment them below. And as always, if you guys want to get into the private community in a way of supporting the channel, there is a Patreon linked below, or you can get into the Discord as well, but just realize you need the Patreon to get into that private community, into the private channels. And as always, if you guys got value out of the video here, or if this is the first time you're understanding or you're finding out about Seraph, if you're looking for a project kind of like this, then if you guys could like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys.